Hello, coaches. Thank you, TISCA Board, for such an honor. It is quite humbling to receive a Theron Pickle Award. I knew him and would walk the deck with him, talk, laughed, listen to his not so great pearls of wisdom and commentary, and enjoyed those moments as I do with all the coaches. Mike, Bob, Denise, you have served and do serve this organization and the kids in this state so well, and you have like a spoke in a wheel. Your influence is way greater than you probably can even imagine. Coaches, I want to tell you that I'm one of those people that you saved. There are many of them in your lives that the longer you stay in it, the more you have these. I'm one of those that come back 15 years from now and say, hey, Coach, you were right. I didn't understand it at the time, but you were right. It started when I grew up without a father. And so I was always searching for that father figure, that person who could replace that dad. And it started with middle school when I had moved from our third or fourth school, and we were moving constantly. We didn't have a lot of money, and I had to switch. My mom had to work as hard as she possibly could to raise all four of us. And I had a chance to stay with my uncle for a summer. It was my way of running away one time. And anyway, he was a coach. He was a wrestling coach at a small high school in Connecticut, and his wife, my aunt, was a special ed teacher. But they influenced me and started me on that path. He would coach me in a way to be a father, a dad to his children, and that coach, that nurturing spirit for those kids. We would walk into town and people would come up and say, hey, Coach, how are you? And they'd shake hands and, Coach, how you doing? They'd know about his family, and it was amazing to watch that, and so humbling to see, or so inspiring to see the way a coach is treated and reacted to in a community. And that's still true today. You can't take that away. I also had an opportunity then to meet a friend when I finally did go with my family back down in New Jersey, and his dad was one of those dads who coaches everything his son is involved in. And he pushed me to join every sport I possibly could. We couldn't afford it as a family, and he covered all those costs for me, and just so I could hang around with his son. Now, his son was the super athlete. He was the star. Me, I was growing 8 inches in a little over 2.5 years and shot up to 6'5", 155 pounds. One coach told me if I turned sideways and stuck my tongue out, I'd look like a zipper. And so I couldn't do anything. I couldn't they tried me a quarterback, and I couldn't take the ball, turn around, and hand it off to the running back without falling over. They tried pitching. First inning I ever pitched, I got 2 home runs hit off me, and they pulled me without even making the first out. And it was the same way in all sports. Basketball, I couldn't hit the side of the backboard and if I wanted to. So it was difficult growing up athletic. I wanted to be that athlete. And those are the people I gravitated towards because of the coaches. Wherever I went, no matter how hard I tried to do it right, I couldn't. But yet every single coach encouraged me to continue to try. And try another sport. If that one didn't work, don't give up. And that was something I learned quickly and early. And I hope I have passed that on to every person that's come through my life, especially those kids that I've coached, and then those coaches that I can be involved with. It was in high school where the president's physical fitness test had a 600-yard run in it, and I just did that. And for some reason, I finished second in the whole school. And all of a sudden, I found a niche in sports that I was good at. I had the track coach as my PE teacher, and he encouraged me to do track and go out with it that year. And so I did. I ended up running under 4:20 in the mile by the time I graduated, and cross country we were state champions, and it was just all this success came, and it allowed me a niche that I could fit in and succeed in. But without a doubt, the coaches that I had taught me the life lessons that I needed to learn, those that I carry on to today. When I was in college, I had a chance then to go to Nebraska, a small school in Nebraska, and it didn't work out well. I was injured, but I had a coach again who just allowed me to stay on the team. That's how swimming came, to keep scholarship. He had me swim I grew up on a lake most of my life, and I knew how to swim, but we didn't have any swim teams, or the ones we did I couldn't afford to be part of. But swimming and track were so technically oriented sports, and the terminology was so much the same. Sprinters are sprinters, distance, pole vaulters are divers, all crazy, and they just fit my psyche, what I was. And so as I swam, I started coming down to Texas where my family was and swim a summer league. And so I was able to coach summer league, a large summer league team. One of the names on that team was this smart little girl and her twin sister, Tony Schramm. And so I was blessed to be able to influence her in some way. After we started the high school team at Lamar Consolidated, I stayed there for 15 years and was able to be a head coach. Now, when I was a head coach in Nebraska, before I came to Texas, that wasn't good. And I learned how to get up off of your knees and get back into what it is that you love to do. I thought Bobby Knight was the best coach in the whole wide world, that if I made kids cry, that I was a success. I was really getting to them. Well, I found out I was building walls that were terrible. It wasn't so bad. It was bad enough that I made the girls cry, but I knew how bad it was when I was making the boys cry. And so I knew that this was not right for me. And then the athletic department also knew the same. And so around December, we both mutually agreed that teaching and coaching was not where I should be. And so I came down to Texas with my tail between my legs and didn't want to coach again. But when I was given the opportunity to coach high school again, I decided to take it. My principal there had the same type of story. And he was an ex-coach, and he pulled me along, and he helped me. And I was able to ask him questions and walk through it. So in my late 20s, I was still learning lessons from coaches. And hopefully today, I'll still continue to do that. I hope I've never stopped learning. As I was moving through the ranks of coaching, I knew many of you, and I've met many of you, and some of you have gone on to some really great opportunities in this sport and beyond that. And I'm thankful to have any part in your life. Appreciate that. But as I was able to coach and learn my first 15 years at Lamar, I did it all. And so when I had the chance to go to Corpus Christi and open that pool, I vowed that I would never force coaches to do more than just coach. My whole goal was to let you walk on the deck every single day and everything was ready. I wanted to serve and serve well, because I knew by serving you, I allowed you to serve the kids. And so with that philosophy, I went from Corpus, and from that job, which really wasn't that great of a job, God has a good sense of humor because Billy's running the pool now. And I went to Fort Bend, and from there, I was able to move back into the town where I coached from originally, but worked with Fort Bend and run natatoriums there, and been involved in many projects since then. I just have found that as long as I serve and continue to wish to serve, that everything falls into place. I'm not meant to lead out from the front, I don't believe. Even as a coach, I wanted to serve those kids, and when I did that, success came. Never was a big state champion in swimming. It's a huge sport with a lot of big names and big people involved in it. But I never ever regret the chance that I was given to do this again. And so at the end of my career, I'm retiring this year. I just do want to thank you. Guys, there's so many. I hope I have an opportunity to walk a deck and say hello and say personally thank you. But if I don't, please understand, every single one of you that I know your name and you know mine, that I appreciate what you do, and continue to do that. Coaches, you never know who walks across your deck and who comes in the pool or on that diving board or in the polo game, but when they do, you are someone they're seeking and wanting to learn from. God bless you all. Enjoy this moment that you have. It's a challenging year ahead, but when we come out of it, we're going to be better for it. Take care, and thanks again. Bye.